Okay, so based on what we just said, let's do a sample analysis, how we would go about analyzing or figuring out what is happening in a paragraph, in a text. So what I've chosen here is a really easy one to kind of cut our teeth on. So this says, let me just see, the title of it is Shoreline Protection, Mangroves Protect Shorelines from Erosion. And I've deliberately chosen only informational type texts for these examples because narratives tend not to give to give students difficulties, right, compared to informational text. So let's just read it. Mangroves protect shorelines from damaging storm and hurricane winds, waves, and floods. Mangroves also help prevent erosion by stabilizing sediments with their tangled root systems. They maintain water quality and clarity, filtering pollutants and trapping sediments originating from land. All right, so that's a nice short paragraph there. First thing we do is that we identify the verbs or verb phrases. Usually I tell people identify the subject of the sentence and then the verb. You could do that, or you could identify the verbs that are in the sentences and in the paragraph, and then go to the subject, right? The reason I'm flexible is because sometimes it is, depending on the construction of a sentence, sometimes it's difficult to pick up what is the subject, but it is way easier to pick up the verbs. So we can identify verbs and verb phrases, right? So in this first sentence here, mangroves protect shorelines from damaging storm and hurricane winds, waves, and floods. The action, what is the action taking place? The mangroves are protecting. So I'm going to use this color to look at all my verbs, right? So what they do is that they protect the shoreline, right? That's the first, the action that is taking place here. There's an action here, that of protecting shorelines. And in this case, what we have is that the verb, I'm going to use black for the subject. So the mangrove is the actor, agent, subject. The mangrove is doing something. What is it doing? It is protecting shorelines. All right. Go down here again. You see the subject is repeated here. As I said, this is a very simple and easy text. Mangroves, same subject. Also, what do? They help prevent erosion. So that's the next action. They help prevent erosion, right? By stabilizing sediments with their tangled root system. So let's look at all the verbs. They prevent erosion, they stabilize sediments, they maintain water quality, they filter pollutants, okay? And they trap sediments. Are you seeing all of the actions that are occurring? So check this out now. I could easily, because this is, remember what we said, right? If you remember what we said earlier that we want to create a mental representation of what's happening in the text, right? Mental representation. In other words, we want to be able to see what is happening. So now what I'm going to do, don't laugh too much, because I'm going to do what I usually do in teaching students, which is to create a kind of sketch. Now this is not art. It's not supposed to take long. It's not supposed to be art, all right? So you can show them to do something quick like this. So assuming that this is a, this is supposed to be a tree, right? I know mangroves have these kinds of roots here. So this is a mangrove. All right, so for it to be a mangrove, I suppose we need to have more than one. All right, so that's my mangrove. And it says the mangrove protect shorelines. So the mangrove is here, and this is the shoreline, I suppose. This would be this would be the sea, and this is the shoreline. What we're doing here is that we're using the information in the text, and we're doing a quick drawing as a visual representation, so that the reader will be able to ultimately picture in their head what is happening. So they protect the shorelines, mangrove, and notice what I'm doing here. Now this is very important. The mangroves, what do they do? They protect. They protect the shoreline. They prevent erosion. Let's put here. So mangroves prevent erosion. They stabilize sediments. Now sediments are somewhere down here, I suppose. Not being a geographer, kind of guessing here. So they stabilize sediments, maintain water quality and clarity, right? They maintain, look at the other things now. They maintain water clarity. They filter pollutants and trap sediments. So I could do something like this, if they're filtering solution things, I could do something like this. Now don't laugh at my drawing, right? This is supposed to be a strainer, all right? All right, so the water is passing through here, so they are filtering pollutants. Filtering, okay? And they trap sediments, so they trap sediments. These are all the things that a mangrove does. Do you see what is happening? Do you see what we have? Look at what we did by focusing on the verbs, right? This is what a mangrove does. It prevents erosion, it protects, it maintains water clarity, it traps sediments, it stabilizes sediments, it filters pollutants. Okay? So if a mangrove does all of that, and remember the topic here, it had said it protects shorelines. If I look at this, look at all the verbs: prevent, protect, maintain, trap sediments, stabilize, it stabilizes, it filters. Then couldn't I come to the conclusion that a mangrove is very important to the ecology of a coastal area or to a shoreline? Can I come to that conclusion? They didn't tell me that. Nowhere in that passage do they tell me, do they use the word important, right? But I could infer, can't I? Based on the verbs, based on the actions that the mangrove is performing, I can come to the conclusion that a mangrove is very important to coastal ecology. Can we agree on that? And see how I came to that conclusion, because I looked at the actions that the mangrove was performing. Okay? Alrighty.